Hey there, and welcome to another episode of the Dishwashing Philosopher. If you're new here, I'm Rod. I live in Sydney in Australia, and I started the carnivore way of eating about 72, 73 days ago. And I did that mostly because I was what you might call carni-curious, or carni-curious, after seeing Dr. Jordan Peterson and about how much changing his diet affected his health. And so I thought, you know what, that's something I'd like to explore. I don't have a big weight loss origin story when it comes to the carnivore diet, but I had pretty bad bags under my eyes. I realised that I was very addicted to sweet food and processed carbohydrates. My weight was tending to fluctuate up and down. I wanted to be mentally sharper. I had had sciatica for quite a while and pain in my wrists and forearms. I was looking to do something about that if I could. And I was really looking for a structure, a way of eating that didn't mean this sort of having to deny myself or feeling like I was on a bit of a roller coaster up and down. So a lot of those health issues have now gone, and there's been a few other benefits that have come along with that, which I wasn't expecting at all. Yeah, I also forgot to mention reflux and nasal congestion. So the nasal congestion went within a few days, and I had been addicted to nose spray for months prior to that. I didn't realise that I had an irritable bowel. I just thought, getting the runs and getting constipated was a pretty normal part of life, but that is completely gone. There's pretty much no flatulence at all. That's another thing that I am happy to report has completely gone. The addiction to sweet food and the carb cravings, that took a long time to go, a couple of months, but now I feel like I'm the one that's in control of food instead of food being in control of me. I've lost about 10 pounds. I didn't have a lot of weight to lose. I've certainly got a lot leaner. I've added on muscle mass. I'm 52, and I think it's been an amazing intervention, and maybe some of those health issues are something that you're wanting to address as well, and that's why I create this content on this channel. So if you've seen my last video, I was having some doubts about whether the Dishwashing Philosopher was a segment that I wanted to keep going. And the support has been absolutely overwhelming. So I really appreciate everyone's feedback to say, yeah, keep that going. Don't listen to what one person says. And yeah, it's easy to be derailed. Well, it was easy for me to be derailed by what one person might say. And thankfully, there's been a whole lot of support. And I've realised now that actually people do get a lot more out of just me talking like this than what I realised. So I'll be keeping on doing this. But I really appreciate everyone taking the time to actually provide their own feedback. The audio side of things is something I would like to be able to improve. At the moment, I'm in a kitchen. It's full of hard surfaces. This is probably as good as it's going to get at the moment. I want to get one of those DJI wireless microphones. I've got the little shotgun mic on my phone. I've tried the lapel microphone. It doesn't do a better job, so that's something I'll work on. But in the meantime, I just won't talk when I'm actually doing the dishes. Speaking of which, I've got to get on with it. So my son Jacob actually made some beef jerky in my air fryer. You can put it on a dehydrate mode, and it is really good. He did it with rump steak. It's pretty hard to see, but he froze it and then he cut it really thin. There's too much sun here. Anyway, it's salted it, absolutely delicious. So I'm going to get him to make it again this weekend so I can turn it into a video, because it's brilliant. It's super tasty. Definitely recommend that. Speaking of the air fryer, I did a lamb roast a couple of days ago, and I'll have a short out for that soon. And some of you might spot that when I put the roast in the air fryer, the tray that I used underneath was not the tray with all the sides on it. It was only had the front one, so it went all over the bottom of my air fryer, and it's an absolute disaster now. Trying to clean that thing. So I'm debating whether I should use, one of those really caustic oven cleaners in my air fryer to actually get it cleaned out, because I've got one of those bigger air fryers, if you watch the video. I've certainly tried using a mixture of water and vinegar and lemon, and then I set the air fryer on at the top temperature for like 10 minutes, but it doesn't really loosen it up very much. I've had to use like a scraper and a razor. Anyway, surely there's got to be a better way. I'm thinking that I might have to go the caustic chemical route and then just make sure I thoroughly wipe it all down. It's just the idea of chemicals being used where I'm actually cooking food, but I suppose people do it all the time with their ovens. Anyway, if you've got any ideas for me as to how I can easily clean the inside of an air fryer that's covered with a sticky mess, I'd much appreciate it. I'm having another go with my sous vide steak. So last time I tried a sous vide steak, I cooked it at 60 degrees and it was way too overdone. And so Anita from Ketogenic Woman suggested 55 is probably better. So it's been cooking at 55 for, I think, about 12, 14 hours now. I'm going to let it do the full 24. and then hopefully my son Jacob is super keen to get it out and sear it for me. So we'll see how that goes, and then I'll be able to finish that video. So somebody asked about the ketosis and how you stay in ketosis. And thanks for that question too. If you have a question, it's great if I can get those in the comments, because it gives me something to talk about. Now, as usual, this isn't medical advice. This is just for informational purposes only. You know the drill. Now, if you want to be in ketosis, I think if you watch anything by Dr. Benjamin Bickman, who is a scientist who's been researching this for like 25 years or something, then if you just eat fatty meat, you're going to be in ketosis most of the time, if not all the time. And that's assuming that you don't have any metabolic issues, like if your liver function and your kidney function is fine. Now, obviously, if you have some metabolic imbalance there, or something is not working the way it should be, or you've got some sort of disease, then that's going to be a different situation. I'm just talking about for the average person. If you're eating fatty meats, then you're going to be in ketosis a lot. And personally, I've not been counting any calories for the last, 2 months since I started with the carnivore diet, and I have been gradually dropping body fat without I've dropped a little bit of weight, a couple of kilos, but I'm a lot leaner than I used to be, and I can lift more in the gym. I can do heavier weights. I've got more endurance. So, and all I'm doing is, eating fatty meats. If it's a fairly lean cut of meat, then I add in butter, or I coat it with lard or tallow just to add in the extra fat. And yeah, that's what I would do. I used to use these a lot, to measure ketosis, but I found that once I got rid of any processed carbohydrates and just fruits and vegetables altogether, then I was always in ketosis. It was like 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, and I realised I didn't have to keep doing that anymore. So one of the things I'm thinking about today is snacks for my young children. So the living arrangement with my wife is a little bit unconventional. We're together, but we do live in separate houses quite a bit. And the small children are generally not with me during the week, but I have them on the weekends. So I'm going, okay, I need to go and collect them, and what snacks am I going to get for them? So definitely Jacob's beef jerky is something that I'll be taking. And I also cooked up some extra bacon this morning for when I did my breakfast. So I'm going to take these down and made it well cooked. They seem to like those as well. I've got some boiled eggs. And they like fruit. It doesn't seem to bother them, so I'll probably take some cut up apples and other things and just do what I can to. I don't give them any biscuits or anything like that anymore, but all of those foods they really like. So yeah, that's what I've got to sort out. I've got to take off in the car very shortly. So that's it for today's episode. I recorded this on a Friday, but it will probably be around Monday by the time that it's published. So once again, thanks for everyone, your comments and your feedback about keeping this segment going. I really enjoy doing it, and I'm glad that people enjoy it as well. They get something out of it, and I'll just keep talking about whatever's going on. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Love to you all. See you soon.